We're going to say now a new pshat in the Yom Tov of Shavous. I'm sure you never heard this pshat before. It's called Shavous because Shavous.
Wow.
You know, the fellow, he hasn't been trained in good behavior. He has to be trained. People need to get Musar. You can't wake up people who are sleeping. How about Shavuos night? Shavuos night, it's a mitzvah to stay up. You should, that's the point. But only you should stay up? What's going on? You come back from shul, people in apartment houses, they don't have to stay up because of you. Boys, they want to back and forth in some communities from one best marriage to another, and they're shouting in the street. Techel Hashem. Not only that, it's actually rishus. By Victor Miller. It's a mitzvah above Avera. You're waking up people. A lot of them are old people or sick people. So you didn't have to be criticized. Sometimes you think you're doing a mitzvah, you're really doing an Avera. And Victor Miller says further, a man left this world with a good name. When he's alive, people think, oh, he's great. But nobody knows what's really happening with the person. It makes no difference. Only Hashem knows the difference. People were deceived by him. Every morning he came to shul, he had so much kavanah, he didn't fight with anybody, he was always considerate. People look through the window and they saw a Jew going to shul with his friends and they speak with a whisper. Oh, that's a fine man. That man doesn't wake up anybody up. But other people who walk the streets in the morning, they go to the mikvah, a rebbe, even a rebbe with his talmidim, and they talk loud. The whole block can hear him. 7 o'clock in the morning. What do they have to get up so early? People can't sleep because the children are up just before daybreak. So people think, oh, he's a tzaddik. He's getting up early. He's going to the mikvah. No, you're not a tzaddik. You're a Gazlan. You're a Russia. You're a sick. You're a wicked person. You're still in sleep. Gezel Sheina. The Rishon Salanter says, Gezel Sheina, still in sleep. It's worse than regular Gezela. If you steal, you can pay back. But money you can pay back. Sleep you can't return. So it's very important when you learn Shavuos night that you don't do Averis while you're learning. When you're going to shul midnight, when you're coming back from shul in the morning, make sure you don't do Averis when you're doing mitzvah. The Mesilas Yesharim talks about this. It's very important when you do mitzvah, you have to weigh the mitzvah. The Mesilas Yesharim, Rabbi Litzato, great Kabbalist, when he discusses Chasidus, doing mitzvahs in the proper way, chapter 20 he calls it Mishkal HaChasidus, from the word Mishkal, which means a scale. The person has to weigh what he's doing. Is it appropriate? Is it the right thing? Or is it the wrong thing? If he's not doing the right thing, it's not Chasidus at all. It's an Avera.
Or is there redemption there to empower?
I'll bring some stories to show what Mishkal Chasidus is. Two people in the same shul, they have yortzeit. They both want to daven for the Amid. Why are you daven for the Amid? For yortzeit. What's the idea?
Helps the neshama.
How? How does that help the neshama of the departed?
Amen.
Yeah, what am I looking for? By saying the Kiddush, by making the Kiddush Hashem. By being Mezakeh, the Olam, in Amen, Yesh Mei Rabbah, and all these great holy things.
That's the problem. Just look at Minyan.
Why do they want to daven for the Amid? Because they want to say Kaddish. They want to make a Kiddush Hashem. How many times do we see people fighting over the Amid? Or they fight over the right to get maftir. This is what the Mesilas Yesharim is talking about when he says Mishkal Chasidus. Person must always weigh whether or not it's an appropriate time to be a chassid or not. You're really defeating the purpose of what you're trying to do. You're trying to make a kiddush Hashem, but really you're making a chilul Hashem. So if that ever happens, let the other guy down. Happened to me a number of times. Let the other guy down. The people in the kollel are so nice. Yeah, a lot of times we had a hard time getting anybody to go to the Amid. You think with so many Avelim, you wouldn't have a hard time. Actually, we're not be happy because tomorrow we're not start on time.
That's why we didn't start milk on time.
That's because we didn't have a minion. But Marav didn't start on time because I'd always try to get Rabbi Naiman to daven. He said, no, you daven. No, you daven. And then the other guy would come in. And then so all of us, I'm tuning my own horn. It was so nice here in the kollel. Nobody wanted to daven because we all wanted to give the other person the opportunity to daven.
Whoever you want to.
That is the true Kiddush Hashem. That is the true sanctification of God's name. Trying to do the right thing. Trying to get everybody on the same page. Very important. A person should realize what they're doing. Are they doing Kiddush Hashem or they're doing Chilul Hashem? A lot of times you think you're being machmer, but you're not really being machmer. So, I'll tell you some stories from Rabbi Strauss Salanter where this point comes across. It's an amazing story. One time, Rabbi Strauss Salanter was at a place where the people got up to wash in Teres Yadayim, the ritual washing of the hands before a meal. There was no plumbing, there was no running water. All the water came from a well. So the person in line to wash his hands, ahead of Rabbi Strauss Salanter, he saw him, took the cup, and he washed his hands up to the wrists. As the halacha recommends, the preferred method.
So the wrist?
Yeah.
Or the knuckles?
Up to his wrists. So, Rabbi Strauss Salanter, I'm sorry, let's start again. The person in line to wash his hands ahead of Rabbi Strauss Salanter took the cup and washed his hands up to his wrists. Okay, not the knuckles, the wrists. Okay? As halacha recommends, as the preferred method of washing. Rabbi Strauss Salanter took the cup and washed his hands only to the joints of his fingers, which is considered only b'di'evet, not the optimal means of washing. So a person watching what transpired was very surprised. He asked the famous rabbi, how is it that the great teacher is so lenient when it comes to the mitzvah of washing one's hands? And Rishon explained so beautifully. Someone had to schlep the water from the well to the washing station. The weather outside is cold, it's icy, it's slippery outside. It is more important to rely on the lenient opinion of washing with less water than to demand the fellow who schleps the water to get more water for everybody else who wants to be from. This is a prime example of Mishgal Chasidus. What a beautiful story. The Chassid in this case is the one that uses the Lo Shvach. That's what he's supposed to do. That's the rule from God. Another story with Rishon Salanter. And then, to make Max happy, we will end with this great story. So, Rishon Salanter was once away from his home for Shabbos, and he was invited to the home of his Talmud, his student, for the Friday night meal. Before he said yes, he said, Rabbi, I have to ask you, my Talmud, Chaim Yankel, let me ask you a few questions. So Chaim Yankel thought he knew what the Rebbe was going to ask him. So, I have the best shechita. And he started answering all these questions. But that's not what he asked him. Rabbi Yisrael asked him, tell me about the meal. What happens during the meal? So again, the Talmud thought that he wanted to know certain things. So he said, we have lots of Divrei Torah, and we sing a lot. The meal usually lasts for 2 or 3 hours. And we have great spiritual heights at the meal. So Yisrael said, this week we're not going to do it. If you want me to come, we're not going to do it this way. We're going to have a quick meal. After the meal, after everything's cleaned up, then we'll have the singing and the Divrei Torah. But the meal has to be very quick. Right? So that's what they did. After the meal, Rabbi Yisrael walked into the kitchen where there was a Jewish worker. He came in to say thank you, So the woman tells him, Rabbi, I want you to come every week. Why? Every week I'm sitting here in the kitchen, I'm trying to get home, and they're singing away. And I need to sit in the kitchen, I have to hear this. I'm tired, I want to get home. By the time I get home, it's late. My family, they already went to sleep already. Here again, Mishkan Chasidus is at play. What does Hashem want from us? He wanted what Yisrael did. You want to sing? You want to do Zmiros? You want to do Divrei Torah? Don't invite Max. I mean, besides that, not inviting Max because he's not going to like it. You don't invite Yisrael Salanter. You don't invite a great Bush person. You want to sing? You want to do Torah? You do it all night. But now it's somebody else's expense.
Damn right.
You might have to edit that word out. Am I responsible for the...
He's getting paid per hour. It's not more expense.
So, that's the expense. The expense. First of all, you don't know that. We said it's per hour. It's for the job. And even then, person has to be careful about the way they treat other people. Want to give them more money? Give them more jobs. Do other things. Mishkan Chasidus is a beautiful idea. It's to weigh before you do something. Is this the right thing or is it the wrong thing? Speaking about Yisrael Salanter, my rabbi in Philadelphia, Rabbi Terabello, said a beautiful word. I think also some from Yisrael Salanter. Avram Avinu, in beginning of Pashas Vayera, not to be confused with Va'era, okay. Torah tells us about the great lengths he went to provide Hechdos Orchim for his guests. Okay, he ran ahead and he shechted 3 cows in order to have a complete tongue for each guest. And he did all these things. He did it quickly. He baked bread and all these things. When it comes to water, which was cheap, he was cheap. Yukach no ma'at mayim. Only a little bit of water. I mean, come on. You think water, which is cheap, give him a whole bit. But the meat, maybe be a little schwach on the meat. Not at the Zardel house. You have those big ribs. Okay? So why is that? Says Yisrael Salanter, beautiful idea. Where did the water come from? The poor Amman that shops the water. Don't be from with somebody else's cheshbon. The rule from is to be schwach with the water. Beautiful lesson we learned from Avinu.
Can you use the water because what?
Somebody slept the water. A lot of times it's a poor almana, poor widow, a poor orphan. Don't be from with somebody else's cheshbon. What's the word from? What's the rule from in that case? To use Yukach no ma'at mayim. Only a little bit of water. When it comes to the cow, and he did it himself, he shechted the cows, then you can be from. On your own cheshbon, be from. On somebody else's cheshbon, what's the biggest from? Not to be from. On somebody else's cheshbon, the biggest from guy is not to be from. Mishkan Chasidus, chapter 20 of Mesilas Yesharim. A good jump.